Blog Talk Radio, the world's largest online radio network.
Well, good morning and welcome to this Friday morning mini edition of Film Festival Radio Show with me, Janice Malone, your host. And as always, it's an honor, it's a precious, very precious, very, very precious privilege to be able to bring you guys these shows each morning. Almost every morning we're doing a morning mini show. Sometimes we do two morning mini shows, and we really do feel blessed and privileged, and it's a very precious honor that we don't take for granted when the celebrities that we feature take the time to talk with us, and when, most importantly, the listeners such as yourselves tune in. Some of you, of course, we do the shows quite early, and a lot of people are on their way to work or on their way to school or just being, on their way to whatever. And you can't always listen live, but we more than make up for the numbers from the downloads in our archives, and we really thank all of you guys for doing so. I'll tell you more about our archives in a minute here, but we want to welcome our featured guest for this morning in just about 5 more minutes. He doesn't really need an introduction. He's a household name in the world of news, television news. Lester Holt, co-host of the Today Show, and he's, of course, correspondent for Dateline NBC. And he will be joining us, as I said, in about 5, 6 more minutes to tell us about his story on tonight's edition of Dateline NBC. It's a chiller and a thriller there. It has all the elements of the types of movies that I love. I love suspense and espionage and, that kind of genre of film. James Bond, everybody knows, is one of my favorite movies of all time. The whole character, the whole James Bond era. I just love it all. So anyway, this particular story that Lester Holt will be chatting with us about, I don't want to give away too many of the details because we want to give him the honor of talking about his own story. So he will be joining us shortly here. Going back to downloads, we had, as one of our guests earlier this week, actress Tempest Bledsoe, who is one of the co-stars of the new NBC sitcom Guys with Kids. And I hope you saw the preview that took place on, Wednesday night? Yeah, Wednesday night. They had a preview of it. So Tempest stars as Marnie, and her character is married to Anthony Anderson's character on the show. So it's a really funny series, and so the official premiere will be September 26th. So we had Tempest on our show earlier this week, and we are just so pleased to announce and thank all of you. We've had pretty close to 15,000 downloads within 24 hours after it aired. Actually, before the middle of the day, we had already gotten close to 8,000 before the middle of the day, as I said. So we want to thank all of you guys for downloading that episode of our show, and people are still downloading. Tempest and I had a lovely, fun conversation, and we also want to thank our 2 guests from Days of Our Lives. They were on our show earlier this week. We're just kind of giving you a rundown of what's been going on. This is your first time tuning in. You can always go to the archives and listen to any of our guests from the last 5 years we've been doing the show. We have an iTunes page, and you can just go and listen and just have a lot of laughs there. But earlier this week we had Blake Ferris, who stars as Nick Fallon from Days of Our Lives. He was on our show, and you can download that episode. Sean Christian, who stars as Dr. Daniel Jonas from Days of Our Lives, he was on as well. So lots of laughs. Kind of gives you a glimpse of what these 2 guys are doing. Days of Our Lives is on a national tour where they are doing a fan appreciation event, kind of like how the Trekkies conventions are, but except these won't have costumes, of course. But anyway, Sean Christian, Blake Barris, and all of the cast and crew from Days of Our Lives are all over the country. Go to their website, Days of Our Lives, and check out when they will be coming to your city. I know tomorrow they will be in Connecticut. I believe it's Hartford. So all of you lucky fans of Days of Our Lives, you can get to go and sign autographs and take pictures, and they have giveaway prizes. It's a lot of fun from what I've been told. So, okay, one more thing. Monday, we will have our next show on Monday when we will be chatting with Trisha Goddard. She will be our guest on Monday. But before we get to Trisha Goddard on Monday, we have to first get to Lester Holt on Friday, like right now. Good morning, Lester.
Good morning.
It's such a pleasure to chat with you. I've had so many of your colleagues from Dateline on the show, and this is our first time chatting with you, so thank you for being our guest this morning.
Well, thanks for having me on.
Okay, I want to get right to it here because I only have like 9 minutes now, but this story tonight, The Inside Man, it sounds very intriguing and very scary and chilling and all of those elements of that I like for movies. So tell us, who is The Inside Man and what is it all about?
Well, first of all, it's funny you mentioned movie because the movie rights have been sold to this story, and Brad Pitt is thinking about playing the character. The real-life character is a guy named Jimmy Keene, and just quickly, his story, he grew up in a town south of Chicago. He was the high school football star, charming, good-looking. His life takes a left turn. He ends up selling drugs, moves to Chicago, becomes kind of a minor drug kingpin, living the good life, fast girls, fast cars, nice houses until the feds come busting in one day as part of a sting. They convict him, send him to prison for 10 years. He thinks his life is over. Suddenly, the prosecutor who put him away comes back into his life with what amounts to a get-out-of-jail-free card. He says, I'd like you, he says, this is a crazy out-of-the-box idea, but I'd like you to go undercover into this very hardcore psychiatric prison in Missouri and befriend this convicted killer, get him to confess to the killing of an Indiana college student, and tell us where the body is. If you can get all that, we'll let you out of jail and we'll scrub your record clean. He chose this guy that he had put away for this just drug case because he thought he was kind of full of himself, bigger than life, charismatic, charming, that he could actually do it. So he agrees. He goes into prison. It's a scary existence. Only one official in the prison knows who he really is and why he's there. He's desperately afraid that one of the other prisoners is going to recognize him and blow his cover. It's an incredible challenge, it's incredible drama, and he kind of narrates us through this of all the things he faced and why he did it. And the prosecutor didn't make it easy. He said you got to do all those things before we'll honor our deal. So it's all about his challenge.
Oh, my goodness. And I know, of course, you cannot tell us if he lives happily ever after until we watch it.
I can't tell you. I can tell you there's some incredible turns. Let me tell you this one story that, he starts to befriend this guy, and they kind of start having breakfast together. Well, one day, some burly guy comes over and goes, hey, you, come here. The boss wants to talk to you. Well, there's a mafia guy who's serving time in the prison who doesn't like him hanging out with this killer and says, you go hang with us. And so he's got to have breakfast with the old mafia boss and play bocce ball with him every day. And he's like, I don't have time for this. I'm trying to get this killer to confess. So he faces that challenge of how to balance these two competing forces in his life.
Oh God, what a choice! I mean, you've got a rattlesnake and a boa constrictor here. So which one do I want to befriend?
Yeah, well put.
Oh, my God. Well, now, how long, you said that originally he was sentenced to 10 years, so how long had he been serving before they approached him about doing this deal?
I think he's still in the first year of his sentence. This is pretty soon, and originally he wasn't going to do it because he thought this is a mission impossible. But the backstory is he was very close to his father. He had greatly disappointed his father by ending up in prison. And his father was sick and may not live more than a few more years. And he thought, this is my one chance to get out before my father dies. So that was part of his motivation. But he admits, look, I was very selfish. I wanted to get in, get the goods, get out. But only as he became more and more invested did he realize that the bigger mission here was to help a family find closure, to find out what happened to their daughter, where she ended up. And it was really because of this prosecutor who just knew this guy was more than, he had killed once, but he thought, no, he's a serial killer, and I'm pretty sure he had killed this other girl, and we just need to know. And so he put all these wheels in motion. I mean, everybody thought he was crazy because it does sound like something out of a movie.
It does.
But he knew they could do this.
My God, that was one of my questions. That was supposed to have been my last question to ask you. Is it a chance that this will become a book or a movie? I'm too late. It's already in motion. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the book has already been written. Jimmy Keene co-authored a book about this experience, and we saw that book, and we thought we got to meet this guy, and we sat down, and he tells the story in such a compelling way. He's a very interesting character, it's one of those things that he truly risked his life. I mean, whether the prosecution made the right deal in the end, it's for others to decide. But he really went into a very dangerous place where he could have been stabbed in the back at any moment.
What was his reaction about the possibility of Brad Pitt playing as him in a movie?
Oh, he loves that. When you see him, you realize he's a guy that has a very high opinion of himself, he's thrilled. He's actually working in movies now, dabbling and trying to create some film projects. So I mean, listen, I wouldn't mind Brad Pitt playing me in a movie.
Oh, hey, yeah, I wouldn't mind him playing me either, because he's just whatever he decides, he's going to be great at it. It sounds like it might be one of those kind of Get Shorty type or movies or something. But
somebody said, kind of a Shawshank Redemption thing. I mean, it's its
own
own kind of a plot, but it's the whole notion of only one person, official person knowing who you are and what you're doing. And as you'll see in this hour, there is one point where he really needs that official, and they can't find him, and he's in a bit of a pickle. So that's part of our narrative tonight.
When you guys do your stories for Dateline, do you have time to sit home and watch them with your families, or are you just on to the next assignment, or what?
Well, it's funny you should mention that, because on Fridays we air at 10 o'clock Eastern Time. Well, I do the Today Show on Saturday morning,
right.
So I've got to be up at 4:15. So I have to stay up past my bedtime on Friday nights in order to watch the show. Now, fortunately, we have screenings of the show here, so I usually see it before you do. Although this particular piece, we're still making some edits on it, so I'll see it tonight with all of you. And in fact, I'll be probably doing some live tweeting tonight.
Okay.
A lot of our viewers like to go at hashtag Dateline and kind of engage in our mysteries while we're on the air, and it's fun to engage them as well and answer some of their questions. So you're welcome to join us tonight.
I'm going to jump in there tonight. Hashtag Dateline.
And I am Lester Holt, NBC.
Lester Holt, NBC. Okay, I'm going to jump in there in the pool tonight and swim with the rest of the Twitter people.
Okay.
I really enjoyed your coverage, actually all of your colleagues there, but I really enjoyed your coverage of the Summer Olympics. I really loved the features that you did and what have you.
Oh, thanks. That was my 6th Olympics that I've covered, and it is one of the highlights, things I look forward to. It's just, it's a joy to meet these young people who are, household names, if only for a couple of weeks, while they do their amazing things. And London was a particularly fun city. It was a great host city. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I could tell. I mean, your 6th Olympics. I'm still trying to get to my first. Maybe I can make Rio, hopefully.
Oh, that's the one. That's the one we're all like, yes. We want to go to Rio.
I bet you guys are waiting for that one. Get your
My head
samba.
is already pounding thinking about it.
Oh my God! Start practicing your salsa skills now. But anyway, Lester, thank you so much. I know I'm going to be especially tuning in to see the Inside Man story tonight, because, this is so my type of, elements for a movie, and it's already going to be a movie now. So thanks so much, and we'll see you. Hopefully you become a regular with all the rest of the gang from Dateline NBC around here.
Terrific. Well, thanks so much for having me on.
Okay, thanks, Dan. We'll see you tonight on the show. Bye-bye.
All right, be well.
Okay, that is the one and only Lester Holt, Dateline NBC co-host of the Weekend Today show. And man, his story tonight, I could just tell. I could tell that this story had all the potentials to be a movie. And boom, it is. Brad Pitt, starring role. Oh, my God. Brad Pitt is going to just wear out that role. He's probably going to play the role better than the real-life guy. But anyway, The Inside Man will be airing. This is the story. I forgot about Shawshank Redemption. It really does sound like those elements combined with Get Shorty, combined with the Goodfellow movie. It has all of those little ingredients in it. But hey, tonight we got to see what happens. The guy, the undercover inside man. I guess I hate to call him the snitch, but if you want to call him the snitch, it was for a worthy cause. He's a good snitch. He survived it, obviously, and we will be tuning in. I know I will. And also, like Lester said, he's into Twitter. We can jump in there and Twitter with him, throw him some tweets. Hashtag Dateline NBC at Lester Holt. I believe that's what he said. And we'll find him. Twitter with him. While the story is airing is the most fun, is when you can do that. So I'm going to jump in there tonight and do that. Dateline NBC, 10 p.m. tonight, 9 p.m. for me. I'm in the Central Time Zone. Okay? Before we sign off, I want to quickly tell you about, again, Monday. On Monday, we will be chatting with Trisha Goddard. Trisha Goddard is internationally acclaimed television host. She's done shows in Australia, done shows in London, really just all over the world. She will be joining us on Monday at, let me get the right time here because I always mess up on the time. I don't want to make sure I give you the wrong time. But she has a new show, aptly titled The Trisha Goddard Show. And the show is, of course, dealing with people who have problems. She's a conflict resolutionist specialist person. Really good with what she does. We've seen her a lot on the Maury Povich show because she has guest host for him several times when he was out on business. Maury always has a lot of business. He's a busy guy. I'm working on getting Maury Povich on this show because everybody knows that I love this show. Yes, I do. I love that show. But anyway, Trisha Goddard will be joining us at 7:30 on Monday, 7:30 a.m. Central Time. Actually, just like with Lester's case, and we keep forgetting to put a footnote. In Lester's case, he called us in at 8:50 a.m. Central Time. So we have to book the show so that you guys can see. We have to book it at 8:30 because they don't have, the quarter-hour bookings. So that's why a lot of times the show won't start at exactly the bottom of the hour or the top of the hour because sometimes these celebrities are calling in at 10 after the hour or 50 after the hour. But we're going to put a footnote in there. So never mind. That's another technical story. Trisha Goddard, 8:30 a.m. Monday, Central Time, 8:40, of course. No, I'm wrong, 7:30. Sorry about that, 7:30 Central Time for me, 8:30 Eastern Time if you're in the Eastern Time Zone. And if you're on the West Coast, well, it's just going to be kind of early for you. You may want to catch the show in the archives. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I really am sorry for you. But it's okay. Get your coffee. We'll still be here if you decide to get up that early. We still love you in the West Coast. We especially love you on the West Coast. Okay, let me quickly tell you about some upcoming guests. We've got the confirmations. Who do we have? Here we go. Comedian Ron White from the Blue Collar Comedy Gang guys. Ron White. Ron was with us about a year ago, so he's coming back. He's got a new comedy album coming out in a few weeks, so he will be joining us. Naima, remember supermodel, I guess we can call her supermodel, Naima from America's Next Top Model. I think she was in cycle 4 or 5, somewhere along in there. She has a new book that's coming out, and so we are working on bringing Ron White and Naima. We're just waiting on the exact dates for those. Comedian, best-selling author Paula Poundstone will be joining us. That's already been confirmed. The one and only legendary soul singer Al Green will be joining us as well. That's been confirmed. And this is going to be a very interesting upcoming, I guess you could call it guest, per se. In honor of the presidential season that we're in, the election season, I should say, we're going to go to our vaults, go to the files. And we did an interview back in 2003. It was, to be exact, November 20th, 2003, with Senator John Edwards. Yes. This was, of course, before the Riel Hunter. I don't think he even knew Riel Hunter back then, but he was a very vibrant, active, potential presidential candidate, in the making. And he came to Nashville, and we had the opportunity to interview him while he was on his way back to the airport. He was speaking at a university. Time was so crunching, and we didn't get to talk to him immediately after he left the podium. So he says, hey, why don't you and your photographer, you guys just ride with us to the airport, and you can just take the interview while we're riding. And so that is what happened. We had a recorder, interviewed Senator John Edwards, and I just think it'll be quite interesting to just hear what he had to say and what his mindset was like at the time. He was, like I said, he was really an impressive potential presidential candidate. And so we're going to clean up that interview. It's on cassette. Remember, cassette tapes. And we're going to put it on MP3. And we're going to let you listen to it in honor of our presidential season here that we're in. Wish we didn't know we even still had it. We would have played it during the Democratic National Convention. But hey, it's still presidential season, so this will be something interesting, I think, to listen to. Okay, that's pretty much it. I've caught you up on who's coming to the show very soon, and we want to thank our guest for this morning, the one and only Lester Holt from Dateline NBC and the Today Show, for joining us. Make sure you tune in tonight on Dateline NBC to find out more about this very intriguing story that he has done called The Inside Man. And The Inside Man sounds like he had the potential to become a dead inside man here, but I think obviously he survived it. So, again, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you all for downloading our shows from the archives and just supporting the show the way that you do. And we will see you guys hopefully on Monday. Make it a safe holiday for those of you. And I'm saying holiday because there's a particular friend of mine, and it's their birthday tomorrow, and they call it a holiday. So you know who you are. Make it a safe holiday for you tomorrow. But for the rest of us, maybe it's, every day is somebody's birthday. So for all of you who have birthdays tomorrow and today, make it a safe holiday for your birthday as well. So anyway, just have a very safe weekend and get some rest. Watch some football like me. And we will see you guys on Monday at 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central Time, Monday morning, when I guess, again, will be Trisha Goddard from the upcoming new talk show, The Trisha Goddard Show. And I will see you Monday. Take care. Bye-bye.
Blog Talk Radio, where millions of hosts and listeners gather.